Howdy YouTubers, welcome back to another Throttle Buddies video. My name is Spencer. Today we're going to be working on my S13. We have a Vegas drift event coming up in just about a week's time, so I got about a week to get a lot of stuff done on this car. But yeah, let's get right into it. So here's a little hit list of everything we're going to be working on in this video. Hopefully we do get all of these things done before the event next week, but if we don't, it's not the end of the world. First on the agenda, we do have rack spacers. I picked these rack spacers up from GK Tech for only $9, so that's pretty cool. And second on the list is the garage toe alignment. I've already got everything measured out here using a straight edge, so once we add those rack spacers, we can go ahead and fix the toe. Third on the agenda, brake booster line check valve. I've already replaced the brake booster line with a proper vacuum line, so my brakes actually work now, but I still do need a check valve. So that would be good to throw in there. Fourth on the list, we have the power steering install. Hopefully I get the power steering installed on this car. That way it'll be a little bit better to drive. My fiance can drive it, stuff like that. We do have to fix the hood pins. Right now the hood pins are a little bit loose. I'd like to be able to throw the hood back on the car, but I have to pull the intercooler to get it fixed. So I just have to pull those bolts, put some thread locker on there, fix that up nice and tight. Install the body kit. We want the car to look a little bit better for the event. Tires, wheels, paint. We do have some tires that we need to throw on, but I'm not sure if we're gonna get that done. As long as I have some burners to burn through for the event, we'll be fine. I'd like to finish painting these pink. They got kind of messed up, so I gotta strip them, repaint them. I'd like these to be my front tires, but we'll see. Some wheel spacers for looks, that's not that important. Seal the shifter plate. I do have a leak over at the shifter plate on the trans, so I need to take that out, seal it. We're gonna be redoing the trans mount. Right now I have the stock trans mount in there. It's really sloppy. I picked this up locally. It's a GK Tech solid mount. I got it for a really good deal used. Of course, fill the trans with some war fluid and do some test driving. See how the car feels after all these differences. So let's jump right into it. Get the car up in the air, start working on these rack spacers. Okay guys, here we are under the car. I gotta go ahead and cut these zip ties off these rack boots so I can get them removed and start putting in these spacers. Let's get to it. One thing I went ahead and did to hopefully make my life a little bit easier is I measured the rack spacers with thickness. They're right about 6 mils thick. So I took a paint pen and just marked 6 mils on each side. So basically those will, if I just close it onto those 6 mil threads, it's gonna make up for the difference of the rack spacer, theoretically. I'm not sure if this will actually work, but it makes sense to me in my head with math. So yeah, hopefully that'll help me out. It's roughly about 4.5 threads I counted. I got these boots off. It's kind of grimy and dirty in here. Unfortunately, I don't have any brake cleaner, so I'm just gonna try and clean these up the best I can before I throw them all back together. But yeah, let me put these spacers in here. Now that we got the inner tie rod loose from the steering rack. Oh, that's pretty weird. I'm basically just gonna throw the spacer right on these threads in here and then throw it back in the rack, tighten it back up. So here we have the inner tie rod ready to go back in. I put some thread locker on there. It's always smart to put some thread locker on there. You don't want this kind of stuff coming loose. And of course you can see the spacer on there. So let's get her back in there. All right, she's all snugged up. You gotta really kind of crank down on these bad boys to get them nice and tight. But yeah, let's get this boot back on here and then we can do the other side. All right, this side is all done. Let's move on to the other side. So here we have the other side. Let's see if I can do one of those cool YouTuber magic little snaps. So let's put this other ring in there. Well, there it is. We have the other rack spacer installed on the passenger side. Actually, I had to lift the car up a little bit. This inner tie rod's definitely been replaced at one point, and whoever did it really tightened the shit out of it. But luckily, I was able to get into it with the cheater bar, and yeah, let's get this boot right back on. Honestly, the most painful part of this whole rack spacer job is trying to get this inner boot right here on the rack. It's so annoying. But let's get that on there and zip tie them closed. So this is getting a little bit sloppy, but for the most part, it's definitely helping. I started out with 68 and 11/16 over here on the front end, and 68 and 13/16 on the back end. So it's pretty much just a little bit toe in from the beginning. Now I'm at 69 inches even in the front end and 69 and 7/16 in the back end. So it's just a little bit more toe in, a little bit more aggressive of a toe in right now. I'm about to go to work, so I'll probably adjust this later. I'm gonna take a little test spin and just see how it feels overall, see if it feels super off or not. Park up the car, go to work, and if I decide to, I'll go ahead and adjust it just a little bit later. So these rack spacers will give you roughly about, 5 to 8 degrees more angle. From what I can see, it looks like a lot more angle for me. Keep in mind the rest of the front end is stock control arms, stock tie rods and stuff. But yeah, this should be a lot more fun for the event. Just a little bit more angle, a little bit more fun. Off to work. See you guys soon. Making my way to work, thought maybe I should have taken a before on the angle so we could see the difference. That's okay though. And second, making my way to work, thought maybe I should invest in some toe plates. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. All right, guys, we're back. It's a new day. It's 2 days later to be exact. I ordered some toe plates from Amazon, my favorite place to order car tools and car parts. Well, not really, but it works. So I have some toe plates coming. So we're gonna do the alignment later on. Right now I'm gonna jump into working on the trans. I'll put that new mount on there that I got, fix that leak that I have by the shifter, and throw some new, or well, not new, but top it off with MT90. So here we go. All right, guys, here we are under the car with the old transmission mount. This thing is nasty. I'm gonna go ahead and switch this out. We got 2 12s holding the cross member to the transmission mount, 2 12s holding the exhaust hanger onto the transmission mount, and 4, I'm pretty sure these are 14s, holding the cross member to the car. So I'm gonna get these all undone. All right, guys, so we got the exhaust hanger nuts off. We got the mount to the cross member nuts off. I totally forgot about these. These are actually I'm pretty sure these are 14s or 13s, I can't remember. These are what hold the mount to the transmission itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove those as well. Got these 14s out. I left 2 of them dangling, and now I have the jack under here to support the transmission. I'm gonna get everything else taken out. Bye. All right, transmission mount is out. It's right over here on the floor. Got the cross member in the mount. Gonna go ahead and rig up the new mount. So I have the new trans mount fastened to the cross brace. It has new hardware, as well as new hardware that goes to the trans. I think I'm gonna go with these bolts instead of studs, because it'll make it a little bit easier to maneuver the exhaust when you're removing the trans cross mount. But yeah, let's go ahead and throw this in. Check in with you guys in a sec. So I got everything in there loosely set in. All the cross member bolts are loosely set into the chassis. Exhaust hanger bolts are loosely set into the mount. Last step, I just have to send these 2 bolts up there with some thread locker. Luckily, they're a little bit skinnier than the old bolts, so they're really easy to make sure that they line up. This cross member always fights me really good because these bolt holes aren't that big really, but everything should be able to snug up nicely. So let's get to it. Okay guys, so the solid mount is all buttoned up. trans cross member as well as the exhaust hanger all buttoned up. Honestly, I like this a lot because with the other hunk of junk mount, these bolts going into the chassis would fight me a ton. Like the cross member almost acted like it doesn't fit this chassis, but it came off this chassis. But yeah, I think I'll be happy. I hope it's not too crazy, but the rest of the car kind of feels shitty anyway, so I don't think I'll really mind if it's really whiny and whatnot. But yeah, this is all finished up, buttoned up. I did put thread locker on pretty much everything besides the bolts that go into the chassis. And this bolt closest to us into the chassis, it decided to kind of keep on spinning, so it's a little bit snugged up, but not as snugged up as the other three, so we'll keep an eye on that. So I went ahead and pan markered all these bolts just for some added peace of mind. This is something I've been meaning to be doing a lot on this car, but I haven't actually started doing. But yeah, so now we're gonna check out this trans fluid leak. It definitely looks like it's coming from the shifter plate. Hey, how's it going, Andy?
Hey, what's up, man?
You scared me, man. I'm like, whose legs?
Podcast or something, man?
Yeah, a little bit of vlogging.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna check this out. Shift plate seal. I did replace this output shaft seal, so I think that should be fine. But that'll be the next agenda. All right, let's get the center console out of here. Shifter, get down to the shift plate. So yeah, this thing's definitely very leaky. The inside of the boot was totally disgusting. I'm not sure. There's like literally like pooling trans fluid up here on the top of these bolts. I'm not sure if you can have a leak in here, like where the shift lever goes in, but it almost seems like that's where my leak is. But regardless, I'm gonna pull these 6 bolts. I'm gonna go ahead and undo these nuts, or well, these bolts, and replace the seal here for the shift plate. Probably just gonna RTV it because I don't have the actual gasket. So I'm an idiot. These last 2 bolts are like impossible to get to with the trans bolted up. So I'm gonna go down there and undo the cross member bolts and lower the trans again. Yeah, I meant to do that actually. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. All right, now with the trans lowered down a little bit, it's a lot easier to get to those bolts. I'm gonna go ahead and get the shifter out of there and get this thing removed. I don't really think that the shifter plate is actually the cause of the seal. Oh, well, I don't think the shifter plate seal is bad, causing my leak. I'm not sure where this leak is coming from, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway since I already did the output shaft seal. Then I can kind of like eliminate where this leak might be coming from. I think it's coming from the top of the shifter or potentially the output shaft of the trans, but fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll fix it right now. So got the shifter plate out now. This is definitely, I think, the original seal. All the bolts were definitely torqued to spec. They kind of like snapped open. It was kind of nice feeling. Shifter plate's just right out there. I'm gonna get this factory seal off, get this all cleaned. So I got all the gasket material cleaned off. I went ahead and gave this a wipe down with some alcohol. I made sure to put that spring back in there. I guess that's really important. I don't know exactly what it does. I've got this end all cleaned up as well. Just getting ready to throw some RTV on there. Got some Ultra Black over there and throw it back in. And we got this one over here, playing some Animal Crossing, hanging out in the garage. All right, got the shift plate right here. Just a thin layer of Ultra Black RTV. Gonna go ahead and throw this in. Still playing Animal Crossing. All right, I got the shift plate and shifter all back in, circlips all in there. I'm fairly certain that the old gasket was not leaking, but definitely good to do. I'm fairly certain that the rubber shift boot that's supposed to go around this before you throw like the rubber onto the trans tunnel, I think that would prevent the leak that I'm having. So I think it's just a little bit of trans fluid is just sloshing around up here and just leaking everywhere. That's why I was pulling up in these little puddle holes right here. But yeah, now I got to get one of those. They're only like 10 bucks, but I don't really want to pay for shipping for one. So I'm just trying to get one locally, but I'll probably end up just buying it on Injuku. Now I just got to put the trans bolts back in, and then we can top off the trans and move on. I would definitely say, I'll definitely recommend doing the shifter plate before you put your motor and trans in the car. It's not the most pain in the ass job to do with the trans in the car, but it's not super fun. The last 2 bolts that are way up there are a pain in the ass to get to, but it's not as bad as like doing an oil pan or something. And I definitely think that that boot will help me out. Most of the transmission fluid was up inside this outer boot. Kind of wash this off in the sink. But yeah, I need to get that boot, and then hopefully I'll stop having a slight transmission fluid leak. But we'll get this all buttoned up, top it off, and I'll put that shift boot on there later on once I get it. All right, guys, I'm gonna sign off for the night, pick it back up tomorrow. I got the trans bolted back up to the car. Got her up on all 4, so tomorrow I can fill the trans, make sure it's topped off. Last thing I want to do is blow up a transmission. It's not a very fun job to do, and it's not exactly cheap. I tried to fit this old rack boot onto the shifter to try and I don't know, alleviate my sloppy shifter splash. Didn't really work, so I gotta get that what do you even call that thing? The little shift boot thing. I gotta get that little shift boot thing, and I definitely need to replace the bushings in my shifter. That's why it's splashing up so much. Cool thing tonight, we get to cross some things off that we did these the other day before work. Rack spaces are done. We're halfway done with this. I still have so much stuff to do. Seal shifter, we're done with that. Trans mount, we are done with that. So tomorrow we're gonna fill the trans. Something that's not on here, I have a little bit of a gas leak I'm gonna try and assess tomorrow. Definitely gonna fix the hood pins. Oh, and tomorrow we're getting some tires mounted at my friend's house, so that's gonna be pretty helpful. And the big thing, power steering, I wanna try to get that on before the track. But if not, it's not the end of the world. I've drifted this car without power steering for a long time. But yeah, we have some toe plates coming, so we'll get to that probably a few days before the event. Catch up with you guys tomorrow. SR20, these pull a premium a couple weeks before Race Wars, or a week before Race Wars, which is what we're doing right now. Yo guys, it's a new day. As you can see, the rear wheels are off of the car. We're about to load up all these tires and wheels and go over to my buddy Nando's house and get some new tires mounted so that we're ready for the drift event. So let's get to it. Nothing to it but to do it. So we're a little bit early. We're gonna go ahead and top off the trans while we wait to depart to go do tires. Just trying to get as many things checked off of this list as I can. So we'll get that done real quick. The garage is a mess. We're still a little too early to head over to Nando's to do tire stuff. I forgot to mention this morning my toe plate showed up from Amazon. So we'll be able to dial in the toe pretty soon here. For now, moving along, I'm gonna go ahead and install the power steering pump, try to get everything routed. I think I have like right-hand drive lines. I don't really know. I gotta try and figure this out. Might have to get some new lines from all hose or something. But if that's the case, I might have to wait a little bit financially. We'll see. So down there, that's where the lines would go into the rack, the high pressure lines. Or, well, I'm not sure if that's exactly what you call them. If I route these lines that I have like that, they'll basically plug in, go along the bottom of the cross member, and it looks like my reservoir and my pump is supposed to be on the passenger side, which that's not how it is, basically. So if I flip these around so that these are on the driver's side, these would end up on the passenger side, which would be conducive to like a right-hand drive car, where those inputs would be on the opposite side, here on the passenger side. So I have the incorrect lines. I'm not even gonna throw in this power steering setup. I'm just gonna leave it all out. I'll have to just go to all hose down the line, get some custom lines made. But we'll go ahead and not do that for now before the event. Taking a look at everything here to do, most important things really is the garage toe alignment. I kind of want to fix the hood pins so I can run a hood and just throw on the body kit, and we're almost ready. Unfortunately, it won't be with power steering, but that's all right. We'll do that another time. Okay, guys, we just pulled up to Nander's. Let's go say hey. Take a look at his cars. This is R32 GTST. We do enjoy them. Oh!